What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I just read a article about Manny Pacquiao. Actually, it was about Freddie Roach, and he did an interview regarding Manny and how he felt about his upcoming fight of him and Adrian Broner. And surprisingly, I got to take my hat off to Freddie Roach. He wasn't bitter, he wasn't sore about Manny or anything like that. Not like Bob Arum. You know what I'm saying? Because Bob Arum looks a little butthurt, a little bitter about him leaving him and going over to the other side. But I feel he just kept it honest. He was like, well, I think Manny, is a lot older now. He's 39, and he would he looked good in his last fight, and we just got to see, but I think he beats Broner. But Broner's a good fighter, and Broner was always respectful to his gym, in his gym, when he was there. So he doesn't really look at Broner, as a disrespectful guy because of how he treated him or whatnot. But did go on to say in this interview that a prime Manny Pacquiao would walk through everybody in the welterweight division. And I will agree with that. The welterweight division now, okay? I would agree with that 100%. I don't think not even Earl Spence, because I don't think Earl Spence could deal with that type of speed and those angles. He couldn't deal with no one that fast like that. He could hope to catch Manny and hurt Manny, and that would be his only option, but coming from a southpaw to a southpaw, no. Manny Pacquiao would walk through half these guys, well, all these guys, and then he'll be competitive even to this day, even to this day. That's why, timing is so important when you come to boxing. And managers, trainers, promoters, they know this. They know that timing is the main factor with picking fights. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people call it strategy. On this channel, I do not. I do not call that strategy. I call that cowardice, because you waiting a guy out. Why are you waiting a guy out? That means you're either concerned that you don't have enough confidence in your fighter for your fighter to win. And if that is the case, that means you need to negotiate knowing that you're taking a gamble, fighting these guys or fighting this particular opponent that can possibly beat your opponent. Is the best option for that promoter or manager is to get the most amount of money for that fight. Let's use Terrence Crawford for an example with Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao wanted $20 million to fight Terrence Crawford. Do you think he asked for that type of money because he was certain that he would win? No, he wanted that type of money because he knew that was a definite threat, especially at his age. That's Terrence Crawford, and one of the number one guy or the number two guy, however you guys view it. To me, he's the number one guy. It depends on who fights next. Loma fights and dominates and beats Pedraza easily, then he becomes the number one guy. Then Terrence Crawford fights and wins and beats another difficult opponent easy, then he becomes the number one guy. But besides that, Manny wanted that type of money because Manny knew he was taking a risk, and people around him knew he was taking a risk. That's why they didn't even want the fight to happen. That's why the fight didn't happen. You see what I'm saying? They were like, no, we're not putting you in there with a guy like that. And it's unfortunate for Bud, because Bud is that guy that could have got that torch. You see what I'm saying? Because Manny is one of those old legends that is still holding his own. And it's nothing like shutting down a legend. Look at Anthony Joshua and Klitschko. Look at Klitschko and Fury. You know what I mean? These two guys share that torch from beating that king guy with 65 KOs, Vladimir Klitschko, right? They pass the torch to the next guy. That's how it works. Now, the question that I have for you guys is Floyd Money Mayweather. Floyd decided to take his damn torch and dip it in the pond, throw it away in the lake, meaning he wouldn't give anyone else that opportunity to fight him. I had a detailed conversation with a guy, with a friend of the channel, you know, and he was saying that, Floyd did a lot more than Manny. But what Floyd's doing now, Floyd's fighting UFC fighters, you know, and he's doing that because he still wants to stay, I guess, stay in the limelight, of course, but, he wants to drag them into his world. Now, the problem I have with that is, business wise, I don't have a problem with it at all, because I feel that Floyd knows he can't compete with guys that, like, he would never get in there with Earl Spence. You know what I mean? He would never get in there and make that fight with a tough opponent. You know what I mean? So the question you would ask yourself is that wise enough to know that, just, without saying, like, Floyd knows, because he said he wasn't the same type of fighter. You know what I mean? So is that him saying, hey, I can't deal with these guys? You know what I mean? Because he's still coming back and saying, I'm the creme de la creme. I'm the cash cow. You know what I mean? I'm TBE. It's like, that's my only problem with Floyd. You're coming back and you're saying this, you're saying that, you're talking about numbers, but you're not talking about fighting ability anymore. You know what I mean? Sure, what you could have done, but, like, what can you do now? And my problem is, he doesn't want to give a young fighter that opportunity to beat him. That's my problem. Where all the other fighters did. Now, Floyd has a question of taking punishment. He has a thing about, hey, it's nothing cool about taking punishment. And I believe that to a certain degree. Because, you look at Joe Louis and Rocky Marciano. Joe Louis was way past his prime when he fought Rocky Marciano. Just using that as an example. And, he got knocked through the ropes. So Floyd's trying to avoid that, and I think he should address that before, bragging. Because it's like, you're trying to pick all these guys to make all this money, and you're giving these UFC fighters all these good fight purses just because they're doing good numbers in the UFC, and you're trying to get that UFC crowd, where you could fight a current guy, and help him out, since you tried to help Andre Berto out, right? Since you just tried to help Andre Berto out, you could help someone else that really has a chance of beating you. That's how you challenge yourself. Since you haven't really taken much punishment in the sport of boxing, I think you owe it to the fans. I think you owe it to, really, the people under you, to give those young fighters the opportunity, like other fighters did, like Sugar Ray, like Oscar De La Hoya, like Marvin Hagler, like Muhammad Ali. I know when he fought Larry Holmes, he was way past his prime, but the whole thing is, he still passed the torch to someone that beat him and made him quit, that made him know, hey, I shouldn't be here no more. And Floyd doesn't give that opportunity to people. That's my problem with him. Now, hey, if I'm just coming back to fight these UFC fighters, make a whole bunch of money, then I'm out because I know I can't compete with the real boxers of today, cool. Let that be known. But don't sit here and say, hey, I'm the cash cow, I'm the king, and I think you should fight him, and I think he should fight you, and I think I should be matchmaking him and the Wizard of Oz, Al Heyman. He shouldn't be doing that. That's my problem I have with Floyd. What he did at Pretty Boy age, when he was considered Pretty Boy, it was miraculous. It was awesome. You know what I mean? I don't see anyone beating him. I don't even see Loma beating him at 135 when he was at 135 because of the way Floyd fought. You know what I mean? Fighting a southpaw, it would be competitive. I would love to see it. But, I'm not sure about that. You know what I'm saying? You can't really do the crossover with a southpaw. I don't want to get too far into that because, that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, I think Floyd should just really, just really be humble and say, hey, man, I can't fight these young guys. I'm not fighting no Keith Thurman, no Errol Spence. I'm not fighting them. Let Pacquiao do it if Pacquiao can. You know what I'm saying? But don't get mad when Pacquiao beats one of these young guys. Don't get envious like you did when he got the Fighter of the Decade award and all that, saying he should have got it and all. You know what I'm saying? That's what happened. Because then he would be back in the spotlight, and then, because he clearly said he didn't want to fight Manny. Oh, I don't give a fuck about what Manny Pacquiao's doing. But you lured this guy to your side of the street because he thought he was fighting you. You know what I mean? Like, that's either slick or dirty. You know, it's either way you want to look at it. That's how that went down. So you got a guy basically to join your umbrella of fighters to turn, you know, because you promised him, or you pretty much promised this guy and charged him up and said you're gonna have a Manny Pacquiao Floyd Mayweather 2 fight, or sorry, a Floyd Mayweather Manny Pacquiao 2 fight, and you know, now you don't want it. You just wanted him to sign the contract. Huh, gotcha, bitch. You know, yeah, it's a trip, you know. So, but no, that's my only problem with Floyd. So a lot of people say, well, hey man, you know, you rag on Floyd a lot, you know, but that's my problem with Floyd, you know, and I hope that was explained well. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about this video. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.